Welcome back to On Your Hero. We're now going to be starting session 2, talking about session 2 of my sex surrogate therapy. Alright, so this one was a 1 hour intro intimate session. Alright, it's kind of long, so here we go. I'm just going to start reading. So I was nervous, and I took a long time to get started. I sat on the couch for a while, talking, trying to get comfortable. Then went to the room and got undressed at a slow pace. Before I was able to take off my pants, I had to imagine that I was getting a physical for a sport in high school just to take my pants off. Imagining that I was at a clinic getting a physical from a woman helped me to take my pants off, so that part worked. So if you have problems getting undressed from somebody new, if you ever played a sport, just imagine you was in like a physical, and you have to put your brain in a different mode. So as I was taking my clothes off, I was complimenting on my body from my head to toe. This helped me to feel more comfortable with her because she's like a stranger. Because I'm meeting her fast and I'm getting started fast in these things, okay? So she showed me the vagina and started to explain what the clit is, lips of the vagina, what the lips of the vagina are, the P spot, and when the vagina is shaved or clipped of all hair, you can see the skin. If the skin turns pinkish in color, that means the vagina is excited. So I really like learning more about the vagina, and I still want to learn more because I know the vagina is an intricate thing, and there's probably still more to it. So basically, we laid in the bed, just looking at each other, hugging and like snuggling, and this helped me to get used to her body and for it to feel non-threatening. So you get close in order for you to get used with the body, the warmth and the skin and things like that. Okay. Then she kissed me for a while, so I wouldn't breathe afraid of her lips because her lips are going to be an intricate part of this. She gave me a rub all over my body from head to my feet and found the right pressure. For me, it was medium pressure. First, she did it really light, and I felt like tickling. Then she did it medium, and that felt right. And then she did it hard, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. That feels like a massage. And then she's like, okay, her natural pressure is medium. All right, so then I said, and she took the ends of her hair, ran it up and down my body twice, and it felt nice. It felt very feminine, so this helped me bring my awareness back to the room, and I didn't flash back. She asked me for consent for every tiny small thing, even for switching sides of her body from being on my left side or on my right side. Kendra Holiday is very careful with me. So here's where the triggers start happening, okay? When she tells me to lay on my back, she put her whole weight of her body on my chest and stomach. Now, this is something my molester did, which is why the trigger happened. But what was different was that she licked my nipples. She gave me kisses on my chest and stomach and my neck. I could also feel her long hair and her boobs, which keeps me present, knowing that I'm with a woman and I am safe and she's not a Christian, so it's okay. Then she told me to also lay on my stomach. And she got on top and laid her whole body on my back. And I was triggered her also because my molester did the same. Okay? But what was different was I felt her long hair, I could feel her boobs, and she gave me kisses on my back and she licked my ears and things like that. And she took her hand and clasped my right hand on the right side. That snapped me out of the trigger of her being on my back because I clasp my hand with my woman's hand all the time. I like doing this because it makes me feel like I'm connecting and communicating with my woman through touch. By clasping her hand with mine, I just kind of go like that, and we just do it like that. My lady used to play with my earlobes, so that also felt familiar. It was nice because what my molester would do was he would flick my ears like that, really hard, until they would hurt and they would sting, and he would just fucking keep doing that. While he was on top of me and doing stuff. So having a different sensation on my ears rather than just flicking and this hurting pain is better. Then she kissed me from my head to toe, then in between my legs, and then asked me if she could lick the testicles and the shaft. Then she asked if she could suck the penis. I was fine at this time because I turned my head away and I did not look at her giving the blowjob at all. But she said do not come in her mouth, and this made it difficult for me to orgasm or to focus on letting go at all. There also was not a lot of time left, so I did the best I could. But I turned away from looking at her giving the blowjob, and I did not know that is called disassociation. I was disassociating myself with the situation. I have also been doing the same thing with my own woman all these past 8 years. I was unable to orgasm this time because too little time left, and I was not comfortable with trying to hold myself back to tell her when I was going to orgasm because I had to worry about my sperm getting in her mouth. I was instructed to feel inside the vagina with my finger, touch the left wall, like that, touch the right wall, and push down, and then push up, and feel this bulge, ridge area at the top. And that's how I learned where the G spot is inside the vagina. Everything during this session felt safe. She gave me a kiss and a hug goodbye, and the session was over. Now, if you are in a relationship and that person is dropping you off, try to be on time to be ready to be picked up, because the person you're in a relationship with might be early to pick you up for this type of thing. Even if they are usually late to pick you up, most of the time for other events, for example, like to pick you up from work, but because you're with a sex surrogate therapist and having to have sex with another person to heal your trauma, that is when your boyfriend or girlfriend will be early to pick you up and not late. At least for something like this, okay? So just be early, or just be on time. After the session, I sent an email about what I liked about the session and explaining to my sex surrogate therapist that the therapy was working, but I ended up using the expression, I loved when you did this and I loved when you do that. So that caused a blow up in my relationship when my woman read the word love. So apparently the proper etiquette when you are in a relationship is to replace the word love with the word enjoyed or the word liked. This will save you the headache of being hurt in your relationship, especially when your woman is, not putting out or has not been putting out by intercourse or orally for over 2 weeks. But your boyfriend or girlfriend might all of a sudden start putting out the day before your appointment with the sex surrogate therapist. I don't know why though, so I do not have the answer for that. Sorry. My advice is that if you have anything to say, do not say it over email. Write a letter or wait to see your sex surrogate therapist and then read it to them or hand the letter to them during your next appointment. After a while, when my sex surrogate therapist did not respond to my emails with a next appointment date, I started getting sick to my stomach and losing weight and throwing up at work. I had to be sent home because I felt like I did something wrong, or my sex therapist sensed something bad, or that something bad was behind me on my skin where I can't see because she was back there. But I can't see back there, I don't know if she saw my abuse scars or what she saw. And, I was just wondering why she wasn't responding back. Nonetheless, I took a shower and brushed my teeth and washed my hair and cleaned behind my ears and put on deodorant. And I didn't use any cologne. So what's the problem? Did my molester hurt me that bad? Was it because I couldn't orgasm? What is the problem? Why is she not setting me up with another appointment? Is my problem with being molested and raped by a Christian that bad to where she can't fix me and she doesn't want to talk to me anymore? I'm going through a lot of mental strain afterwards, just from that. Eventually, I could not take the mental stress anymore, and I called my sex surrogate therapist up, and I told her my feelings, that I didn't want to feel like a monster anymore, and I couldn't eat, and I was throwing up, and I wanted to be normal and have a healthy sex life with whoever I'm with. Then she gave me my next appointment date. After I expressed myself, I did not have any more upset stomach or feel bad after I had an appointment. At least I knew I was not that bad of a person, or my situation was so bad that I was never going to complete my sessions to be healed of the sexual abuse trauma that this Christian guy did to me for 5 years. Trying to undo these memories or replace these memories is hard, but this session number 2 actually did exactly that. The sex therapy works. Sex surrogate therapy works, okay? So, trying things at home, okay? So, I tried to have my lady lick my nipples, but she said she did that before and I didn't like it. So why is it okay now? And it makes her feel like she is coming in second. So that exercise of testing what is working did not work for that. I also tried to look at my lady giving me a blowjob as practice to not disassociate myself from the blowjob by looking away. I was able to look and everything was fine at this time. I looked and no flashback and no trigger other than the bonnet on her head, which I always prefer long hair or wigs. It helps me to be turned on with visual stimulation. When we were first together, before we got engaged, she had long hair and had more visual stimulation during sex and stuff like that. Either way, I was able to look at my lady giving oral with no problem. And we'll talk about session 3 after this.
So there's probably a lot of people that are kind of blown away about how session 1 was where it's like more of a question and answer, and And then session 2, you kind of jump right into, taking your clothes off and everything, and you guys are getting intimate and stuff like that.
Well, it's expensive, and you are paying. Okay, you will be paying. For her, it's $220. Okay, for my situation, she gave me a discounted rate, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to disclose that.
Okay, so that's okay. You don't have to go and disclose her because she has, of course, a business, so that's one of the things that we want to keep the integrity of. So you don't have to disclose
that. But the first session is all the way across the board for everybody, $120.
Okay, so
when I say first session, I mean like the first talking consultation where you're just talking and she's gathering information to find out where she's going to be having you in your sessions and stuff like that based off of your information you gave her at first.
So people might ask at this point, you said that you're in a relationship.
Yep.
So the fact of like you being like the second session and then you're taking your clothes off with another person, does that feel different than it did? Like, how does it feel different with your person than it did with the therapist?
It doesn't. I'm still highly nervous. I'm still wondering if it's safe. Like when I first got with my lady and she was able to take her clothes off like it was nothing. I wasn't. I was the same. It was like being put in that same box where she's going to see me naked. I don't know if she's going to see my scars. I don't know if she's going to, wonder if I'm supposed to be huge for a black guy. Am I supposed to be 12 freaking inches? And I've got to worry about all this stuff. Is my body good? Am I fat? Did I work out good enough? Do I have enough muscle, tension on me? All that type of stuff. It's one of those things that I worry about because I have high standards for myself.
Do you think people would feel like it went a bit fast for you to be becoming intimate with the therapist that quickly?
Some people are not. Some people can do. I would say that for a virgin, yeah. But I'm not a virgin, and I wasn't, so I knew what sex was at least, and I was having sex with my woman for a long ass time, so, like, when I say a long time, I mean 8 years, okay? Because I've just been starting this 8 years. I mean, I've just been starting this, like, this year, for maybe, like, 3 months ago.
So do you think it's difficult with the sessions if you're in a relationship with somebody else?
It's only difficult if you're hiding it and you're not open about it. It will be difficult, yeah.
So how would hiding it be bad for someone that's in a relationship?
Because if you get caught, then you're going to have to explain your secrets of why you're going through this. And your person, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, because she helps men and women, your boyfriend or your girlfriend may not be supportive in you being raped or you being molested. They might think that's too much for them and they could leave you. That's called baggage. You don't know what people will act like with your baggage. You don't know.
Do you think it would be difficult for somebody if they were married and they have kids and then they started trying to heal from it after, like, let's say they found out about Kendra Holiday, like, after they're married, they have kids and it's a guy or a girl and they're just now getting into it. Do you think that would be a strain on them if they have like a lot of responsibility like that?
It's going to be a strain to handle their family responsibilities, but however they handle their mental strain, it's all up to them on that one. It's hard.
Do you think some people would kind of not go into doing the sex surrogate therapy because they think they might be going through and suffering through things, but they might not do it because of being a Christian?
Yep.
Why do you think?
Because they think it's cheating, they think it's infidelity, they think, but then you got plenty of Christians just like, they're cheating for real, and they're not even paying, they're not getting a therapy, they're doing it with random people because they feel they want more experience, and instead of paying somebody that has the experience, they're out getting it at the club, taking the trip to Las Vegas, going girls' night out, boys' night out, at these places where you basically got meat markets where, everywhere looking to have sex at, Yeah. And that's a bad thing. Then, because the person is not a sex surrogate therapist, so that person may not use a condom. They might take the condom off. They may lie to you and say they're on birth control, and they're really not, or say that they can't get pregnant. They're not doing that as a profession to help people. So they're random. and you don't know if they're clean or not. You have to lie. You got a lot to worry about.
So would you say when it comes to the second session, would you say that, do you think this session was a lot more, that it was harder than the first session?
Yep.
Why?
Because the mental strain afterwards. And I had to learn that the hard part is when you're told that you're doing something that's not normal, okay? And you're thinking that you're getting by, like, oh, I'm getting by, I'm not that bad. But then you start learning that you're doing things that you're not supposed to do. Like, I'm supposed to be able to look at a woman giving me a blowjob as a man. I'm supposed to be able to look at it, watch it, and enjoy it, and look at the visual stimulation. But I'm turning my head and I also close my eyes. I disassociate from that because that's something my molester was doing. Okay? And so I don't watch, okay? But I learned now, in session 3, I'll get to that. But I don't watch, okay? That's just one of the things I don't do because I cannot see, I can't see feel the feeling and then like see him doing that. I was doing that for 5 years. So, I mean, it's a habit, and I just don't watch. I don't look.
Do you know anyone else who's gone through sexual abuse before?
No, I don't.
You don't know anybody else who has gone through abuse? Like your sister? Has your sister gone through anything?
I know about her. For her, it started when she was 3. And, well, one time, I was doing the dishes, and I was 12, and she was 10 years old. And I didn't know it was her when her was 3. I only found out when she was 10. And I had went to church and stuff like that. And I was supposed to give my life to Jesus and everything because one time the windows was open, and the neighbor heard me and my sister screaming from the abuse because we used to get hit by these nails, with board with nails in it, stuff like that. So she offered us to take her to church. I said the Lord's Prayer, say, Jesus, take me into your life, whatever. So then I went home after that. I guess like 3 days after, I was doing the dishes. I heard these boomings and these weird sounds that sound like kind of like sex sounds and screaming sounds. And
did you know what the sounds were when you were younger?
No, I didn't know what it was. I just knew something was weird. But so the moment I said, Russell, I'm done with the dishes. Russell was the guy that my sister used to abuse her guy. I was like, I'm done with the dishes. He said, oh, okay. And they was in a room, my mom's room, and they was in there. And so I kept hearing, okay, it's going to get disgusting. But I heard, and I hate hearing these noises, and I can't ever get rid of them out of my head.
Okay.
But I heard this noise like that the guy was making. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing? You know?
Yeah.
And I started hearing my sister like screaming about it, and then I heard these booms on the walls, and then I heard her saying for me to help her, but I was 12 and I wasn't very tall, and I'm not tall now, and I wasn't strong enough. But I learned that, hey, I can just call on Jesus. I can just call on God. God will send an angel, or Jesus will come down, because healing in the name of Jesus, power in the name of Jesus, you know. And I believed that. I really thought that Christianity was real, and the Holy Ghost was real, and God was real, and Jesus was real. You know, I believed in it as much as I believed in the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, everything else.
Yeah.
So, you know, trying to tell a kid that Santa Claus ain't real after he just had some cookies out, it's going to be hard to do. That's how much I believed in it, because I needed something to help, because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't strong enough. So for a whole hour, I would pray and pray to Jesus to save my sister, and then she would start saying, "Alan, help me, you know, brother, help me, where are you?" And then the sex sounds and the moaning sounds and him going like that would get worse, and it would get really worse. So I did that for a whole hour, the whole time while she was being raped, the whole time. And I prayed to Jesus for an hour. I was like, but Jesus, you said if I had the faith the faith the size of a seed of a mustard seed, that you would help me. I can move mountains. And I was saying, but Jesus, you said that if I believed wholeheartedly, and I'm believing wholeheartedly right now, Lord, and Jesus, that you would help my sister, that you would protect us, that, you know, I was doing believing wholeheartedly. I was believing that if I had faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed, I was believing that. You know, and I even started trying to do the Holy Ghost thing. I don't know, and I was trying to do that, and no Holy Spirit, nothing, no angels. You hear about angels coming up to destroy whole cities in the Bible, but you can't even send one to help my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus didn't show up.
Yeah.
Thus, unfortunately, people have their testimonies with what Jesus God did for them and what the Holy Spirit did for them. Well, that's my testimony of what it did for me and my sister. So that's
It
my
didn't do
testimony.
anything.
It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I have my testimony. They have theirs.
Yeah. So I think it's good for people to know that not only did you go through things, but you also knew somebody else that did. And it looks like from the way that the look on your face is like, it's really real. And I think a lot of people, they like to act like it doesn't happen or anything like that. And as a kid, you're not responsible for what happened because you're a kid,
I was told that by grown adults. I believe them. I didn't think they would lie to me, but they did.
So the grown adults told you to believe in Jesus and God and everything, and they'll save you and do stuff. Yeah.
Just try Jesus. And I did all that. It didn't work.
Okay.
It's all fake.
So at least one of the things I think is it gives people a broader perspective and stuff like that, because it's something that people don't want to admit.
When it was real and it was real,
it should have worked.
And because now, since I have to live with that, because I'm like saying, but God, but you're supposed to be everywhere. You're supposed to be able to see everything. Why are you just watching this? I was, saying all the stuff that they taught me, and nothing. It just was nothing. And when my sister came out, she was bleeding from her vagina, and I had to clean it up before Mom got home. And Mom gets home around 11 at night. During that time, and because she was a LPN or something like that, registered nurse or RN, something like that.
Yeah.
And this is why I freak out when my woman has a period, about there being blood. And I take a shower. If I get that blood on me, I'm taking.
So it seems like
I don't even wipe it off. I take a whole shower.
So it seems like it's traumatic, and it seems like for people who are considering going through, like, I think for people who are watching who may not understand, like, going through what you did or what your sister did too is hard. It's not something easy.
And we was Christians the whole time, but it just, being a Christian doesn't save you from that stuff. God don't save you from that stuff. Jesus, that stuff's not real. It's not real enough to save you from that stuff. They got, I'm on grounds to say that their testimonies are like fake, because
yeah.
Look at my testimony.
Yeah, it's not a testimony. A lot of people would say.
My sisters.
Have you ever shared what you've gone through with any church people before? And
yeah,
what was their response to it?
Their response was, the people are not ready to hear that. You're ruining my business.
Wow, they said that?
Yep.
Wow. That's shocking. So I want to go back to your sex surrogacy session, your second one. So would you say that if you could go back to your first session, do you wish that you could have known what you would experience in the second session?
Well,
to kind of prepare yourself for it?
Yeah, I was very nervous. And I emailed her and I said, hey, at first it sounded exciting, but now as we're getting closer, I'm getting nervous. She's like, it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. My job is to make sure that I keep you calm, which she did. She did it over every technique. She asked me for everything. And she gave me a bunch of compliments and stuff, which is not something that you normally get during sex anyway from your person, unless that person really loves you a whole lot.
So when you're in these sessions, what is your mindset? Are you, like you said, you're doing a lot of thinking about things. So are you kind of going at it from like kind of a learning perspective of like a professional type of thing where you're trying to?
Well, I'm going through it like, 1, don't freak out. 2, if you flashback, stay present. 3, follow the process. Just focus on her voice, focus on what she's telling you to do, and follow the instructions.
Okay.
Because on her website it says you'll be okay as long as you follow the process, and so I'm all about following the process. It's like a sport, for me. I do sports, I know that. I also do calisthenics, so I know that following the process actually gets you good results.
And how often would you say, how often do you do these sessions?
Once a month.
Do you think
the check, on whatever, me and my lady make a check, and it's not a check that we spend on rent. We spend this check to to do my sex surrogate therapy on weeks where we're not spending on rent.
Okay. So once a month. Do you think it's good to do it once a month, or
No,
do
no.
do you think it would be better to
I
do
would
it twice a month?
Yeah, you should do it twice a month. Please do it twice a month if you have the means, because the wait is ridiculous and the nervousness is ridiculous and your mental strain. It's ridiculous. Like, you should really be able to talk to them in person. You should really be doing it twice a month. It's got to be done twice.
So that's what you recommend. It's like twice a month instead of
Twice
once a month.
Please try it. Aim for twice.
Do you think if somebody's thinking about starting and doing the sex surrogacy, whether they're a girl or a guy, do you think they should save up money first before they kind of get into doing it?
If you can't afford it, ask for, hey, can you please do a reduced rate? You know, it depends on the severity.
Do you think they should save up money though?
Yeah.
Like, how much money do you think somebody should save up? Like, you don't have to tell how much he charges, but how much do you think a person should probably have if they're going to be doing sessions? Like, in your head, what's a good amount for them to have?
Have your 220 ready. Just get your 220, you know, or have your discounted rate ready, whatever she decides.
So if somebody saved up like $1,000, do you think that's enough to kind of that they can?
No, but at least you'll know just look at it. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2, 4, 6, 8. So you're looking at 2, 4, 6, 800, and then 880. So you'll be close.
So do you?
So that's this many. So that's 4 sessions.
So
if you're ready at 220. If you have $1,000 ready.
So let's see. I think I was gonna ask something else about the whole thing about paying for it. Oh, I was going to ask, so do you know if she takes like people's insurance for it, since it's like sex therapy? Does she take insurance, or do people have to pay out of pocket mostly?
She takes payment a whole lot of different ways. In some ways I never heard of. But that's on her website, to be honest with you.
Okay.
She takes payment in so many different ways. I ain't even heard of some of these payment ways. But you can do money order. You can just put an envelope and mail it to her, give it to her in her hand. That's what I do. An envelope, put it in her hand.
Okay.
Because you got to wait on the money order. Money orders cost more because you got to pay for it to get there, you know.
Okay. So, see, we've kind of gotten through a lot. So, you know, I just asked some more questions, kind of broaden it up a little bit at least. And so did the second session, did that take place at her house also? Is that where it took place?
Yeah.
Okay.
It takes place at the home and in the bedroom.
Okay.
Where everything is like soft and like soft light, and there's not bright light like this. It's like it tries to calm you so you don't freak out.
Okay. So that's good. I mean, at least you have somebody that's kind of, you know, where you're in a private place where you can kind of talk and stuff, and it's not, you know, an uncomfortable environment. So
it's like the air smells really clean. It's like a air purifier or something like that.
Okay.
Clean the air.
So that's good. So I do want to ask this one last thing. So, you said it could be difficult if you're in a relationship to do the sex surrogacy.
Right. So basically, me and my dad don't have a good relationship, and I can't ask him for advice on how to be a man, or what to say to a woman, or what not to say when you're in a relationship, or what words to use. I tried doing it, but me and my dad don't have a good relationship. We don't talk. So therefore, I don't know what proper etiquette it is, because this is my first relationship that I've ever been in, like seriously been in, for any length of time.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning. There's always something new to freaking learn, like certain words, because I'm open all the way, and I can be trusted, and I'm truthful. So my email's open, and I don't have any passwords or nothing that my lady don't know. And I don't have any secret bank accounts. I don't have none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So everything's open. No lock on my phone. I mean, there is for strangers, but my lady knows how to unlock my phone.
Okay.
Stuff like that. And, you know, that's why I got into where you got to use certain words. And in session 3, I also learned something else that's a romantic thing. Like, I'm a guy, so most romantic stuff that I don't come up with myself, or I don't know that's romantic for women, I don't get. So it goes over my head, and I'm just doing things. I'm just following the process. I'm just following the steps.
So how do you think your fiance feels about, you know, the fact that you were intimate with the therapist? How
Well,
do you
she
think she
really
feels about
didn't
that?
like it very much. She was upset about it. And then it was extremely hard for her to understand my plight. I was crying in the bathroom one time, and she was like, "Why are you crying in the bathroom? Why are you crying in here?" And I wasn't getting a lot of love. I wasn't getting a lot of caring, and I ended up sitting outside for a while. And I walked out, and I felt like she was being controlling. And I was just going through. Like I said, the mental strain is very heavy. If you don't have a person that is the same like love language type you are, or if they sometimes this person just can't understand it. Like this, I'm talking about some Christian rape and molestation here that happened over a 5 year length of time, where it happens almost 4 times a week, okay, and every night, and whenever the parents are not home or when they are, every night, and you cannot leave, can't escape. And when you do try to escape, that person ends up there. Okay? So, it's hard for another person to understand that. And with you being a guy, and with their focus, who knows? Because all they might be focusing on is, oh, you're just effing some chick, or you're cheating, or you're just out there having a good time. No matter how many times you explain that you're having a hard time, no matter if you're crying, no matter if it's showing on your face, I broke down to the point where I couldn't handle it. I wasn't defending myself in arguments. I was just sad. I was just depressed about it. I was just at the park, just looking at the dang moon and looking at the sky. And I was at the park at nighttime, and I couldn't handle the arguments. I was kind of toned out. I was what you would call emotionally unavailable, because I wasn't available to the emotions of my woman because she already told me already. She's just basically repeating the same things over and over and over and over. And I'm repeating the same things over and over. And I've hit this point where like, okay, she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it. She's not giving me the right type of feedback. I'm not healing. I'm getting worse. And I don't want to start thinking anything else. So I just need to focus on being quiet, reflecting, healing my brain, and settling down.
So it sounds like she was kind of going through something herself too, in addition, because you're going through the sessions, but it seems like it can maybe be difficult on the other side too, because she doesn't understand what you're going through, and to her it might seem like there's an element of cheating, because some guys do lie about what they're doing. They're not honest about it. They use her backstory and experience.
Sorry.
Maybe something where, maybe she might have gone through people making excuses or something like that in, previous interactions or something where she was going through dating. So it might be something where she's reacting in a way that seems to make sense,
Right. But see, that's the difference when you get between a man and a woman. A man usually has a whole lot less dates and interactions with women, because women are chicks, so they're going to get a lot. Like I said, my experience with dating is a whole lot less than hers.
So, but we've gone through a good amount of, for this video anyway. You're going to have a third video about your session 3, so that's going to be pretty good, because you're going to, you said that as you get into these sessions, it's going to get, it's going to be more and more intense in a way as you get into it. And even for the people watching, the content really is this is an adult theme that we're talking about, so this is really serious, and stuff, and this is meant to educate people too.
I'm gonna be 30 next month,
so yeah, so
and so this is how far it affects you, because I never thought I would get help with this. I never thought this was available. I never knew a sex surrogacy therapist was available for stuff like my situation. But when I think back about my experiences that was my molester, about certain events, they are replaced. I have, it's been,
you made some progress.
It's not replaced, but it's overwritten. I still have the memory of the original thing happening, but when I look at it, I'm seeing my sex surrogate therapist making it better, making it
that's
safe,
good,
making it with like love in a connecting like way, in a loving, caring way, rather than this intrusive.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're making progress, rather than it not getting anywhere, because a lot of people may think it's pretty far out to be, sex surrogacy. For some people, that might be pretty far where it goes beyond what they'd be comfortable with doing.
Well, I realize that this is something that needs to be done before a relationship so that there's no problems.
Yeah.
Because there's problems.
Yeah.
And I'm discovering one of the hardest parts is admitting. The hardest mental strain on you is when you don't have the support from your significant other. Okay, that's one. But the main thing that always gets me is that when you figure out that something was wrong, when something got fixed, okay, you have no choice but to admit that because something, it's like the law of duality, okay? You have no choice but to admit that because something got fixed, that something was broken.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. That something was wrong with you because something got fixed. Mm-hmm. It's like the kicker.
So I do want to ask the question, in your next, in the sessions that are going to be coming, are these sessions going to be, is it going to be heading towards intercourse? Is that something that's going to happen for those watching?
Yep. And I'll be talking about that session 3.
Okay. So I just kind of want to, see where this is going.
Because I have to make progress. Session 2, I failed. Okay. I failed that.
Why?
Because I was not able to orgasm like I needed to. I needed to get past that because otherwise I can't get to other stuff. I have to get past that because that's a part that's holding me. That's holding me. I'm disassociating. So I have to be able to pass that mark.
Okay.
That milestone. Then I can get into other stuff. And we'll talk about if whether I did or not in session 3.
All right. So I guess that's it for this session. We got a lot of content in this video for everybody to kind of digest. For some people it's going to be too overwhelming, but for other people who've gone through what you have, which it'll be unfortunate if people have, but I think it's good that you're educating people about another option of something that they could do, because it's good to get the word out about something that can help people. So all right.
Zoan really does well with overriding memories of what your molester or rapist did to you.
So I guess the next video is going to be session 3.
Yep.
All right.